Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She used to meet me at the door with a dish towel on her shoulder and the oven humming. That night, she didn't even look up from her phone. The pot roast sat cooling on the stove, untouched, while she scrolled like the screen owed her rent. Long day. I hung my jacket and set my toolbox by the bench. She slid the phone face down. Don't wait up. Girls' night. On a Tuesday? Calendar police now. I poured water, watched the steam crawl up the glass, and let the first flag plant itself. If I'd known where that road was headed, I would have turned off right then. She grabbed her small crossbody and breezed past me, perfume hanging in the doorway like an alibi. I stepped aside and kept my voice level. Text when you're heading back. Don't be dramatic, Ethan. It's wine and gossip. Text anyway. She rolled her eyes, kissed the air somewhere near my cheek, and vanished. I ate alone, rinsed her cold pot roast down the sink, and put her plate back in the cabinet. By 10, she hadn't checked in. At midnight, I knocked on the bedroom wall just to hear something answer. Nothing did. The next evening, I came home early and cooked. Simple, skillet chicken, broccoli, a starch. When she walked in, I pulled out her chair. Hi, stranger. She sniffed the air. Nice. The bag dropped. I'm starving. Can't stay long, though. Emily needs me. 2 girls' nights in a row. Emily must be running for office. That's supposed to be funny? It's supposed to be precise. We ate. Forks and plates spoke more than we did. When she pushed back her chair, I wiped my hands. Before you head out, I need your share of the mortgage and utilities for this month. I kept my tone even. We'll start splitting everything 50-50 going forward. I'll draft a simple budget. Joint card goes inactive Friday. Her head tilted, the kind of tilt you give a toddler mispronouncing words. Since when? Since we're living like roommates on alternating shifts. Roommates pay their part. I'm not mad. I'm adapting. Adapt somewhere else. You make more. You always said. I said I'd carry more when we were building the same house. Different story if I'm eating alone and you're a phantom. So now you're punishing me. It's not punishment. It's policy. She laughed once, sharp. You're ridiculous. I wasn't. I moved our joint card to my wallet, set my own credit card on the table for groceries, then slid it back in. Rent's due on the 1st. Your half is $1,900. Utilities will tally monthly. She pushed her chair in without saying thank you or goodbye. The door clicked. I rinsed 2 plates and wrote out a budget on a legal pad. Line items, dates, totals, no commentary. I put it on the fridge with a magnet shaped like a lighthouse we bought in Maine when everything was simple. That magnet didn't save anyone. 3 days later, Emily stopped by the hardware store where I managed the floor team. Not planned. She leaned on a cart filled with paint rollers. Hey, Ethan, you guys have those angled brushes. End cap aisle 6. I led her there. Haven't seen you in a bit. She nodded at the brushes. Thanks. Also, I wasn't with Ava Tuesday night. I met her eyes. Got it. I mean, she said she was with me. She wasn't. Copy. You two okay? We're adjusting. She tapped the cart handle. If you need a neutral witness later, I'm invisible and honest. Appreciate it. She left. I restocked a shelf of utility knives like nothing in me stirred. At closing, I texted Ava. Picked up groceries. Your half of utilities this month is $213. Mortgage due Friday. I'll transfer you the spreadsheet. She responded with 3 laughing emojis and a selfie with a cousin I'd met once at a 4th of July cookout. A caption, family night. Don't wait up. 2 nights after that, she came home at an hour that didn't belong to either of us. She tossed her heels in the hallway, grabbed a yogurt, and ate it standing at the sink. I put down my book. How's Emily? Fine. Your cousin look good? She froze. You going through my phone now? I'm reading the captions you send me. It's a joke. I'm not laughing. She shrugged and let the spoon clatter in the sink. You should try it. Mortgage is due in the morning. She waved a hand, already walking out. I'll zell you when I get paid. You were paid last Friday. She didn't answer. The next afternoon, I put the joint card on the counter. Goes off today at 5. And I go off now. She snatched it, held it to the light like it was counterfeit, then dropped it in my palm. You want to keep score? Fine. Keep score. I'm keeping accounts, I said. Her mouth curved. Cute wordplay for control. Control is when someone disappears 5 nights a week and expects the lights to stay on. This is me turning on one light, and leaving the room. She ghosted again. That night, she sent a photo of cocktails with a caption, "Girls' night. Actual girls this time." I locked the front door at 10 and put the chain on. At midnight, my phone buzzed. "Unlock the door, Ethan." No reply. She tried the knob, then the bell. I opened, chain still in. "Remove the chain. I'm sleeping." She leaned into the gap. "Are you trying to embarrass me in front of the Uber driver? You're doing fine on your own." I slid the chain. "Bedrooms to your left. Rinse on the fridge." She stomped past me like I was a coat rack. I went back to bed and fell asleep hard and guilt-free. Saturday morning, she flipped pancakes. That was new. She wore a t-shirt, hair tied up, no performance, just quiet. She slipped a plate in front of me. 2 pancakes, berries, maple syrup warmed in a mug. "I owe you 1900, she said. "I'll send it Monday." Good. I've been out a lot. Work's been heavy. I needed some space. "You already have a whole side of the bed." "I'm trying here." I see the pancakes. She poured coffee, sat across from me, and touched the back of my hand. "Let's reset," she said. "I like clear rules more than resets." "I'll be home tonight. We can watch something. I'll even let you pick." "You never let me pick." She half smiled. "Then I'll tolerate your taste." Progress. We did watch a movie that night. She put her legs over mine, asked about my day, traced a finger from my knee to my ankle, then asleep by 10 on my shoulder. It was almost enough to blind a man till last week. Sunday afternoon, her phone lit up on the coffee table while she was in the shower. I didn't touch it. I don't need to. The preview line was enough. "Ben, you coming by later or not?" I took my keys and went for a drive, put windshield distance between me and the apartment. I circled the lake, bought a coffee in a paper cup, sat on a bench where kids threw bread at ducks. Options line up clean when you stop pretending. When I got back, she was on the couch, hair still damp, scrolling again. "You went out." "Drove." "For what?" "Breathing." "You could have told me." "You could have told me." She didn't ask what. She just looked past me to the TV and asked if I wanted to go to her sister's next weekend. I told her I already had plans. The guys from work were redoing a buddy's deck, and I'd promised to bring the miter saw. She pouted like a teenager denied car keys. "You don't even like them that much." I like honoring what I say I'll do. Monday bled into Tuesday. At lunch, my project manager, Maya, leaned an elbow on my desk. "You look like a man reading fine print." "I'm reading texts." "You want a friend's 2 cents?" "Depends what currency." "Boundaries," she said. "Set them, then don't write apology notes about the pen you used." "Already done." "Good. Also, there's a rumor rolling in from the social circle that you're the controlling one. Thought you'd want a heads up." "From who?" "From who doesn't matter. What matters is I don't buy it, because the last 4 purchase orders say you carried 2 teams and didn't complain." "Thanks. And if you need someone to run interference with HR because home follows you to work, I can do that." "It won't." "Make sure it doesn't." I nodded. Useful people speak in verbs. That night, I loaded up our separate accounts. I moved her allowance to 0 and routed my direct deposit to a personal account she couldn't see. I sent her a simple text, "Shared card closed. Transfer your half by the 1st. If not, I'll rent the 2nd bedroom month to month." No threat. Terms. She didn't respond until 9. Then it was a blurry boomerang from a crowded bar, someone's arm around her shoulders, captioned, "You'll live." Good. I typed back. "I plan to." By Wednesday, the pattern was a pattern, not a phase. So I changed mine. I took an overtime shift, skipped dinner at home, and texted her, "Working late. Don't wait up." She called immediately. "Wait, what? You're working late? You never work Wednesdays." "I do now. I made dinner. I'll eat tomorrow." "So that's how it's going to be?" "It's how it is. I was going to talk to you tonight. You can talk to me by email. I'll read it tomorrow at noon." "You're being childish." "I'm being scheduled." She hung up. I turned up the radio and inventoried lumber like it mattered to my heartbeat. I got home at 10. The apartment was dark. I checked the locks and slept. Thursday afternoon, near closing, my phone buzzed with a block of texts from her. Fast, like she wanted to outrun her own thought. "Where are you again? How many times are you going to pull this stunt? Get home now. There's going to be a serious conversation." I wiped my palms on my jeans and felt something inside me click into place like a socket wrench on a stubborn bolt. I typed with 2 thumbs, no pause. "Where are you again? How many times are you going to disappear and then audition indignation. Get home, we'll talk. 3 dots appeared. Then her reply landed like a brick through glass. I'm staying overnight at my ex's. Accept it or we're divorcing. I read it twice, as if repetition would turn it into weather. It didn't. It was exactly the sentence she meant. The store clock said 5:22. I told the closing crew to lock up. On the way home, I didn't scream in the truck. I didn't hit the horn. I planned. I parked, walked upstairs, and folded her life into boxes. Not petty, organized. Closet left to right. Dresses, gym clothes, shoes. Bathroom, makeup, hair dryer, a jar of moisturizer that cost more than my first car payment. Nightstand, 2 paperbacks, a charger, a spiral notebook labeled goals. I didn't read it. Kitchen, her coffee mug with the silly quote. I taped every box and labeled it with a black marker the size of a carpenter's pencil. Then I set them all in a neat line outside the apartment door, like a delivery that finally found the right address. My heart didn't race. It didn't whisper. It did its job while my hands did mine. When I was done, I wiped the counters. I took a photo of the row of boxes. Then I sent one line. Consider us already divorced. I locked the door, put the chain on, sat at the table, and ate a sandwich with both hands like a man who finally found food worth chewing. An hour later, she hit the door like a storm. Open this door. The chain held. I opened to the gap. What did you do? She looked down at her life in cardboard. Are you insane? Put it back. Now. No. You don't get to throw me out of my own home. You said you're staying with your ex. This is me making room for your overnight bag. She shoved the door. The chain sang. You're controlling. You're abusive. This is me being done. Pick these up. You scattered my stuff like trash. You want a divorce. You got it. Take your boxes and sleep wherever you were headed. And forget the way back to this door. She blinked slow, like she heard the meaning but didn't recognize the voice. You'll regret this. You hear me? You will regret it. Maybe, I said. But not tonight. She grabbed a box, then another, arms shaking not from weight, but from something else. She dragged them toward the elevator and barked into her phone for a ride. When the door closed, she looked at me like I'd broken some secret treaty between us. I didn't look away. The elevator swallowed her and the boxes. The hallway went quiet. I slept like a man who finally remembered the combination to his own lock. Word got around fast because people like to hold the lantern when a train leaves the tracks. She turned our story into a neighborhood fable by breakfast. At 10 a.m., my buddy Hank from 2 floors down knocked on my door with 2 coffees. Morning, Mayor. Your wife campaigned hard before sunrise. Ex-wife? I corrected automatically. What did she say? That you've been stepping out, that you monitor her, that you cut her off from fun money, that she left you because you don't let her breathe. That all. Probably forgot a few verses. I set his cup on the counter and slid my phone across the island. The message thread was open to the line everyone needed to see. He read, whistled under his breath, and pushed the phone back with his index finger. That'll shut most mouths. I'm not trying to shut anyone. I'm keeping receipts. At lunch, Maya called me into her office. She closed the door and pointed me to a chair. You good? I'm steady. Because I got a call from a friend of a friend who said your ex is telling people you're unhinged. I told them that word doesn't match your employee file, your punctuality, or your blood pressure. Appreciate it. If this spills into HR, we'll handle it. In the meantime, document everything. And if you need to leave early to deal with moving trucks or whatever, tell me before you vanish. I won't vanish. She nodded. That text you showed Hank? Keep it. Screenshots win wars. I'm not at war. You're not. She is. By evening, my phone lit up with a barrage of messages from numbers I recognized and some I didn't. A neighbor heard things. You okay? A cousin. She says you were suffocating her. The only reply I gave anyone. A photo of the boxes lined up at my door, followed by her line about staying overnight where she stayed. People went quiet, one by one, like someone cut the power. 2 days later, she tried a new angle. An email, subject line, let's end this like adults. The body was long, sugar and thorns. She painted me as volatile, claimed I'd locked her out, deprived her of funds, shamed her for having friends. Midway through, she switched to sweetness. She missed the way I used to tuck her feet under a blanket, the quiet mornings, the coffee. She ended with, I think we lost ourselves. Can we talk? I replied with an attachment. A basic separation agreement my attorney drafted that morning, outlining a clean split. No claims on the condo I'd bought before we met. No support. Each party handling their bills. I wrote one sentence. Sign, and I'll transfer your boxes to a storage unit for 30 days at my expense. She responded within the hour with a PDF from a law firm downtown, her counter filled with demands to siphon what I built. She copied 2 friends on it like a flex. She wrote, "We can do this the hard way." My lawyer, Ron, is short, lethal with commas, and allergic to drama. He reviewed, smirked, and sent a crisp reply. No, then attached screenshots of the message where she announced her overnight plans and the budget sheet I'd sent weeks earlier. He CC'd me and closed with, "Our client seeks a clean dissolution. Should your client continue public claims, we'll consider appropriate steps in response." No threats, just commas lined up like soldiers. The tide turned fast. Friends stopped replying to her stories. Emily texted me. I confronted her. She blamed stress. I told her she's not original. I thanked Emily and told her to bow out. She did. She didn't bow out. She escalated. Saturday afternoon, I walked into Pete's garage, where I rent a bay on weekends to restore an old pickup. Grease and sunlight, no nonsense. Pete nodded from the counter. "She's been here," he said without greeting. Did a lap with a sob story. About me? About life. I told her we only do brakes and oil changes. I laughed once. Good policy. 20 minutes later, she showed up anyway. Parked sideways like a billboard and marched toward my bay. I didn't stop working. I loosened a rusted bolt, set it in a tray, and wiped my hands. "You ignore my emails now," she started. "I respond to legal counsel," I said. "Keeps everyone honest. You're embarrassing me. People think I'm a monster. People think what they're shown. You cut me off. You threw me out. You locked me out. I gave you terms. You sneered. Then you announced where you were sleeping. Don't confuse consequences with cruelty." She stood next to the bed of the truck, arms folded. "I want the condo. It's closer to my work. I bought it before you. It's mine. You can't just." "I can. And I did. You're heartless. I'm practical. Can we please talk? Not like this. Not around tools. I love tools. They get to the point." She took a half step closer. "I miss you, okay?" She swallowed the word like it tasted old. "Come home. We can fix it." I was mad. I said things. You said accurate things. You said where you were staying. That sentence cleared up a lot. She reached out, touched the truck's fender instead of me. "I'll stop going out so much. I'll cook. I'll be better. Just stop this. Sign the agreement." You really would throw away a marriage like it's a lease. No. I slid a fresh washer on the bolt. I already threw away the illusion we still had one. She exhaled like a performance and left. Pete passed by with a tray of sockets. "You handled that neat," he said. "Torque to spec," I said. He grinned. Finished the job. 2 weeks later, the legal dust settled. No joint property changed hands. No monthly debt attached itself to my neck. The judge signed what Ron wrote. The court clerk stamped signatures that mattered less to me than the moment I slid those boxes into a storage unit and turned the key. Ava tried a last swing of the pendulum. A friend posted a vague status about controlling men who hide behind calm voices. The comments were hot for an hour. Emily DM'd me. "Want me to say something?" I told her to save her breath. Then I posted nothing and lived. I reorganized the condo. I sold the couch we chose together to a kid in scrub pants who needed something soft. I built a simple walnut table in the garage with leftover stock and set it by the window. I reclaimed the second bedroom, put in a heavy desk, hung pegboards for the drill and the clamps, and added a small safe for documents and what I valued. I put a towel and a toothbrush in a gym bag and left it in the truck. I ate with friends at the bar down the street on Thursdays, where the bartender does not ask about home life and the wings arrive like clockwork. I slept like a person again. A month passed. 2. She tried different tactics. A long text on a Sunday morning about memories, a voicemail Monday midnight with tears, a Tuesday lunchtime delivery to my work labeled, "I'm sorry," with a box of cookies. I gave the cookies to the stockroom kids and thanked them for always showing up on time. The 3rd month, she found me outside the store, waiting for the tow truck to drop off a pallet of cement. She wore the coat I'd bought her last winter, the one that made strangers compliment the cut. Ethan, she said, hand out like a traffic cop. Please. No. Just hear me. 1 minute. I looked at the time. You've got 30 seconds. I messed up. I ran. I believed I could do whatever I wanted and you would spend your life making room. You stopped. It scared me. I told myself I hated you for it. I don't. I'm sorry. I want to try again. I can change. I'll stop with the late nights. I deleted numbers. I meant what I said at Pete's. I miss us. You missed the version where I subsidize your story. That's not fair. It's accurate. She stepped closer. I know you still love me. I stared past her at a pickup parking too close to the curb. That's your problem. You think love is a leash. It's not. It's a choice. I made mine. Her mouth trembled around the words she wanted and didn't say. She tried another door. Please don't throw us away. I learned my lesson. You taught me a lesson. See, it worked. I wasn't teaching. I was leaving. You laugh at me now? Her eyes sharpened as she heard her own sentence. Is that what I am to you? A joke. I did laugh then, short, honest. No. You're a reminder to read the signs. She looked like she might slap the air, then dropped her hand and backed away. You'll be lonely. I'll be fine. You think the next woman won't have flaws? She will. The difference is, I screen for respect now. It's my best filter. You'll regret. Save the line. You used it already. She spun, walked to her car, and drove off too fast. The tow truck arrived. I signed for the pallet. Work moved. So did I. 3 months turned into 4. In that time, I finished the truck. I drove it east at dawn on a Saturday, parked by the farmer's market, and bought too many tomatoes. I picked up a second-hand bike and took it on the river trail, legs burning in a way that reminded me I was made of more than reactions. I hosted poker nights with guys who show up with their own chips and don't ask prying questions. I turned down a date once, then said yes to another a week later. Someone who likes early breakfasts and doesn't pick at the check like it owes her apology. We take it slow. She drops off pie on Sundays and lets herself be asked, not assumed. Word back from the same small-town channels said Ava moved 3 times in as many months. Friends invited her and then uninvited her. The cousin she posted with stopped answering. The ex quit replying when she asked to borrow his couch again. She told someone I'd crafted a narrative and weaponized receipts. They told her to stop performing and start accepting. She unfollowed half the list. People forget you if you make it easy. I passed her once at the supermarket. She was in the next aisle, reaching for cereal. She saw me and hesitated, box in hand, then pretended to consider the nutrition label. I nodded once and turned my cart down another lane. No scene, no words. I don't owe her a trilogy or a sequel. On a mild Friday, I took the truck out to the lake with Hank. We tossed a line in the water and let silence be the main conversation. He tapped the side of the cooler. You did it right, he said. How's that? No screaming. No begging. You closed a door and you opened your life. That's what men are supposed to do when respect leaves the building. High praise. Don't get used to it. We laughed and watched the float shift with the wind. Later, I grilled steaks on the back porch I built with my own hands. My new table looked good under evening light. Music played low. I heard my phone buzz once on the counter and didn't check it. It can wait. Most things can, when you're not trying to fix someone else's storm. Before bed, I stood at the window and watched the street. A couple walked their dog, quiet and easy. Somewhere downstairs a TV had the game on. Upstairs, no stories were being invented about me. No emergency was about to knock. My house looked like a place you could enter without tiptoeing around a queen with a fragile crown. I lay down, set my alarm, and slept. Not because I was lucky, not because I was stronger than anyone else, but because I finally did the simple work. I set a line, I stood by it, and when it was crossed, I walked. There's closing a door with a slam, and there's closing it with a turn knob and a click. I picked the click, and it was loud enough.